All right, let's talk about this show. One thing right away to contrast is they don't waste a lot of time, man. It's basically quick story recap, next match, right? It's not quick story recap, vignette on characters that aren't on the show that NXT loves to do, or
Main roster
like
kind of does that too.
advertisement commercial for something woven
Yeah.
into this, right? So it's much more efficient. I feel like I don't get as tired watching their stuff.
No, for
Maybe
sure.
partly due to the in-ring as well, but I did not watch the pre-show. I'm trying to find Pac's segment because I heard it was pretty
Pac
good.
is back.
Pac is back and angry with Tony Khan apparently, so we'll see where that goes.
Yeah. And,
Hopefully that was just a mention and they're not starting to involve him in storylines, because that for me is a red flag for a company. If he starts putting himself in storylines,
I don't
I'll
think
get
he
nervous.
is, because I don't think he should, because
No,
he's kind
me
of
either.
awkward and whatever. But
He is.
stage was really nice. It was
Oh yeah,
nice
talk
and
about
big,
it.
nice screens and whatever. It had like, it didn't have like the columns to it or whatever of like the LED screens, and then had like little screens on the stage too. I don't know. It looked nice. I like their setups usually. It was beautiful.
Yeah, it looked cool. The opening match, we're getting Christian Cage defending whatever his title is.
TNT.
There you go. Against Daniel Garcia. And apparently something happened on Collision to keep Garcia's people away, but they don't really clarify it.
Luchasaurus beat the crap out of him.
Is that what it was?
Something like that. Something with the chair.
So there was no Menard, and is that it? Who else would be there? Just Menard.
Parker's off with Soho, remember?
Oh yes, he's spinning off into a different storyline. So both Waynes and Luchasaurus are with Christian, so you would think that might be a problem. Nobody with Garcia and people with Christian. And this note just says, quite the pants on Garcia.
Yeah, they were kind of like pinkish, and they had like a lot going on there. I feel like he should go back to his actual wrestling gear.
That's perfect, because I didn't remember, other than I made that note, I didn't remember the details. So I thought a bit of a slow start with Christian escaping to the floor for support from his group. Christian then tweaks his ankle, not really though, leads to an eye poke to shift momentum right. And remember how annoyed I was getting with Nigel? Remember his pronunciation?
Christian Cage.
Every time. Really annoying me. I'm 5 minutes into it and I make a note that not much is happening. Christian is really super deliberate while he's in control of the match. Christian off the top onto Garcia on the floor. Christian starts trash talking and saying things like, make your father proud. We get a chop block that shifts the momentum. Garcia starts targeting Christian's leg. Garcia has an awkward landing on the... Do you remember what this means? Garcia, quote, awkward landing on the floor, unquote, is awkward, but not in the way they mean.
No, I don't. I'm like kind of picturing it, but
I think what I meant was he didn't really land what he was supposed to land. And that's what made it look awkward.
Did he like fall off delayed or something like that?
I can't remember what it was.
I don't know.
This is the details you're supposed to fill in. Cage keeps knocking Garcia to the floor for a count out, including running him into the ring post, which looked pretty good. Sorry, looking for a count out, but not achieving it. Wayne gets backdropped over the barricade, sort of onto a chair. They said it was onto a chair. It was not really so much. Turtleneck corner punches are karma. I think that's commentary said that. And I was like, why?
I don't know what that means.
Yeah. Crowd is relatively quiet 12 minutes in. Christian runs into the steps, pleads for mercy, hits a reverse DDT onto his knee. Luchasaurus chokeslams Garcia behind Aubrey's back. Frog splash for a near fall as the crowd starts to wake up here. Daddy Magic ends up showing up. He takes out Luchasaurus. Mother Wayne steps up to him, and then Luchasaurus and Daddy Magic, member, they just kind of awkwardly fight up the ramp and away from the match for some reason. Christian's leg gives out. Garcia hits a pile driver for a near fall. Got a pretty nice reaction. The crowd's starting to get involved. Ref is distracted again. We get a Wayne cutter to Garcia. Kill
Wayne's
switch.
World.
Sorry. Kill switch, and Christian retains after almost 18 minutes. I thought it ended up being like a slow start aside, an enjoyable match. I thought
it was good, not great.
Agree. Christian was like methodical, and then things picked up somewhere near the end. There was a couple believable falls. The crowd kind of got into it. The heels at ringside got involved as you'd expect, right? But not a ton. Like it didn't annoy
Not a
me.
crazy amount. Not like an overcrowded mess.
Like I'd be like, what's my line? Like too many moving parts or extracurriculars.
No,
I didn't feel that way.
Here.
So Christian winning by shenanigans makes sense, right? That's basically what he does. Pretty good match, not the hot start. I gave it 3.5 stars. Like I liked it.
Yeah, I'd give it maybe like 3.25. I don't think I enjoyed it quite as much. Like it was a good opener and all, but not exactly a Hosser. I felt like more of a middle of the road match that
I
we
agree.
probably should have had. I think the next match was definitely more suited to be an opener,
Agree.
if I'm remembering the order right. But no, it was good. I think Christian's a great heel, and Garcia's pretty over, so I think it ended up working nicely. The crowd was dead at first, but I thought like they had found it in the end.
They did.
I thought like in general the crowd was kind of a mixed bag during the next. There was times where they were
I
like really
agree.
dead, but then times where like they came really alive and it was great.
Some matches where how could you not?
Right.
Like, if you don't get involved in the one match coming up, then you don't like wrestling.
Yeah. So
if you paid money to see AEW and you didn't enjoy Takeshita Ospreay, then I don't know what are you doing.
Don't go then.
Right.
Don't go to anything ever.
Right. Just stay home.
Just stay home if you don't like that.
But yes, the next match I think that you're referring to is Danielson taking on Eddie Kingston.
I thought so.
We get Continental Rules for this one, right?
It's funny. I guess I'll go with that. Yeah, it's basically like the tournament rules, which is no
people
interference, like no one at ringside, which I like. I like
me too.
that. Keeps it straightforward, and that's one of the things we enjoyed about the Continental Classic. It's like I don't think you always need to have no interference and nothing, but it's a good change of pace when you do have that for a while. So like I like that for the tournament because it was a decent stretch of that, but it's not like everything in AEW has to be like that.
No, but this division can be, and that
like
can
that.
become like the work rate division.
Yeah,
I hate using
so I like
that term. I apologize.
But this match was funny because we watched like up to after Takeshita Ospreay, and then we stopped for a bit, and then it took a couple days to finish it, and then
we did.
I watched a review of the show, and I forgot how much I actually liked this match.
This match is awesome.
Yeah, like I really liked it in the moment, and like I feel like it just kind of got lost in also Takeshita Ospreay, but like just also being a couple days later, and not, and then being reminded, I was like, oh yeah, I really like that.
And it had a bit of a real sports feel, even with the way Renee. Do you remember when she like spoke about each of them while they're in the background, but they're getting ready for the match? They don't actually say anything.
Cool, yeah.
That has that real sports vibe to it.
Which the C2 did a really good job of like kind of walking the line of real sports kind of feel, but still being the pro wrestling.
Even by eliminating people at ringside, that takes away so much of the sports entertainment stuff.
For sure.
And again, I don't want the whole company like that.
No, I just like it as
that's fine.
Something that's kind of refreshing,
Right.
Like it doesn't need to be the whole thing.
No.
Like we just had a Christian and that was totally fine.
And we expect him to cheat. We want him to cheat.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of cases where that works perfectly, but I like the Continental stuff as just being a break from that, not a stopping of that.
I agree. The crowd is more into this one right away. There's
I think
dueling.
just because Eddie's so...
Yeah.
Eddie's great, right? And
he just
like
connects
some
with people.
Don't like Eddie. I don't know how you couldn't like Eddie because and people say he can't wrestle or he's just like, and it's those kind of people who just don't get it because Eddie is fantastic.
Can wrestle. Is he amazing technically? Maybe not, but like, can he tell a story every time, no matter what? Yeah.
Yeah, and he gets people invested. And if you don't get invested in someone like Eddie, then like, to me, it's like Sami Zayn. I feel like Sami Zayn garners the same type of energy you get with Eddie. Just like kind of that underdog. Like they have a similar kind of vibe to me. And so if you're a WWE fan and you like Sami Zayn, I feel like you should like Eddie Kingston. And he's even arguably has more sympathy because he's got this hard upbringing, because he's out of shape, because he's been beaten down by so many different people.
And he self-destructs. Like he's his own worst enemy sort of thing.
I feel like those people who don't get Eddie, it's just like I don't know what to say to you then, because Eddie's just fantastic.
So there's dueling chants pretty much right away here. Kicks and chops early on as they're sort of taking turns. Saito sends Danielson to the floor. Doomsday.
Die.
There it is. We get an Eddie suicide dive. Eddie accidentally chops the post.
That reminds me. I forgot to tell you. I was talking to my friend at school, and actually I won't name drop, but because she had a geography test, and she was talking about the Northern Lights thing, and I remembered what it was called because of the kingdom.
Nice.
Because Aurora Borealis.
Yes, that's correct.
And I just wanted to tell you.
The kingdom making the world a better place. Educating today's youth.
Yeah.
Thanks, kingdom. There's a Danielson suplex off the apron, right?
That was nice. That always looks good. It's so simple, but like there's been times when Jericho does, and that's like one of the things we like from him.
Because it just looks like one.
It's a nice thud. It looks like they're crashing down.
It could so easily go wrong too, right? Like you're like, okay. Danielson starts working the fingers. He stomps. We get a missile drop kick to the shoulder, and now it's like a full-on assault on I forget which arm of Eddie, but one of them to take away his striking.
Probably the right one,
pretty
because
sure.
he does the Hurricane, but I don't know if that's what.
Because I think he did one or two of the Hurricanes later with the left. He went lefty.
Yeah, or like he was doing with his right, but it hurt or something like that. I think you're right.
Sudden exploder by Eddie finally stops Danielson. We get a stretch plum, but Danielson goes back to the arm right out of that.
Which is a nice callback because that's what he beat Jericho with.
That's right.
Which was the match that Jericho was supposed to shake his hand. Then he didn't. That's how Jazz started, and thus began 2 years of suffering.
I was just going to say, why did you mention them? 2 running corner drop kicks as only Danielson can do, but the third one misses. Nasty looking dragon suplex by Danielson for 2. Avalanche butterfly suplex into a submission by Danielson.
Beauty.
Eddie fights out of the shoulder capture suplex, back fist Northern Lights bomb for 2. Another back fist, but Eddie sells the arm. Danielson kicks it.
Northern Lights bomb's an interesting move. It looks kind of cool.
Yeah. Psycho knee for 2. Wrist control stomps to the head and a triangle sleeper. Eddie eventually gets to the ropes. Super loud crowd, dueling chants.
Commentary
now.
made a good point. That's how Danielson won that 6-man on
That's right.
on the go home Dynamite. So that was a nice callback.
Yes kicks, but Eddie's defiant now at this point, as he tends to get. Dueling suplexes, but Eddie gets the last one in. Just an insane slap exchange.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Just
They're
full
just
on
absolutely
slapping each other.
Eye-facing the crap out of each other. It was awesome. Big smacks.
Lariat counter to the Psycho knee. Eddie powerbomb, high stack. Eddie retains after 19 minutes.
I like that he's won with like a very few different moves. There's like been the Northern Lights bomb,
Yes.
There's been the Hurricane, there's been the power bomb, and I think the power bomb is like reference to one of the Japan guys he likes.
Yeah.
Because it's like that stack power bomb, like you're saying.
Yeah.
And so I like that he's got like a few different things. I feel like because he likes the All Japan guys, he should start busting out a burning hammer, Kobashi style.
Absolutely.
Maybe not on Danielson. But.
So part of this is Danielson's supposed to shake hands with Eddie. Eddie almost like assumes he's not going to and gets ready to leave. Danielson ends up
eventually does. Yeah.
shaking
So that
his
was
hand
nice.
and even
Crowd
the
loved
touch
it.
where Danielson went to raise his arm and Eddie couldn't raise the right arm, so he made him go to the other side.
I like that
right?
too. That was nice.
That's smart stuff. So I thought this match was awesome.
I thought it was great. Yeah.
Right, you get the master technician just dismantling somebody, and that somebody is like one of the classic underdogs. Like you root for
never
him.
say die kind of thing.
It'd be hard to choose better people if like this is the story you're trying to tell, right? Like these are 2 of your first.
And I think
picks.
when Danielson's a heel, he's so good at being this arrogant prick who's just better than you and he's gonna dismantle you. And I think
like he's just toying with you.
And that works so well with Eddie because of that self-deprecating thing he's got going on, where he's always self-destructing, getting his own way. But now he's like
king of the bums.
He's king of the bums is the thing now, right? Because he's beaten Claudio twice.
Yeah.
He's beaten Danielson. He's beaten Mox. So now it's like, yes, he's beaten all of them, but Danielson still doesn't respect him. So Eddie's still somehow fighting from underneath, even though he's coming off wins against Black Bull.
Yep.
So it's interesting. And the style here is nice because you have the technical work from Danielson, but then both of them trade like hard shots. All the chops and slaps and kicks are heavy. They have some really nice suplexes in there. A lot of that.
The crowd added a bit to
a bit too because Eddie gets them going, and that's what I love about him because he'll get a crowd hyped, and that's important.
And Danielson just keeps having incredible matches on his way out, right? Like I don't know if he's ever going to win again. He just keeps
I don't think he has to.
Everybody
it's one of those
over.
Situations, yeah. And I think not only this
he may win
match,
matches, maybe not feuds. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Not only this match, but just Danielson in general kind of elevates the stock of this title. Because I feel like we were saying after that tournament, which was awesome, like Eddie hasn't been defending it. Like I think his first defense was against Trent.
Yeah.
Right. Which no disrespect to Trent, but like
yeah.
that we were saying it doesn't exactly bolster the value of the title. So I feel like matches and feuds like this do bolster this triple crown.
Way more.
Right? Like if it's supposed to be this grand triple crown, which I think if it's this 3 title thing, it should be obviously.
It should be established people.
Guys like Danielson, and obviously later on we'll talk about Okada. To me, that already boosts the stock of this title, which I think is good because I think it should be like, in theory, if it's this 3 title thing, it should be, I feel like, above the mid card titles but below the world title.
Yep.
It should be in this like upper mid card echelon kind of thing.
And again, that's where the workers go because you can't cheat.
Right. And so I think a match like this does elevate this title. And I hope that we get more like this because then this will mean something. And I want to because I feel like the stakes of the C2 were a little underscored.
Yes.
But I feel
early
like
on
stuff like this could help this crown.
I gave this 4 stars. I thought it was excellent.
I give 4 stars for sure.
And I think I'm a tough marker in this sense because I don't give a lot of 4 3/4 or 5. So 4 stars for me is a very good match. Really enjoyed it. We then move to the All-Star 8-man scramble match, which is
probably one of the rare low points on the show.
Yes, I agree. Like,
but also expected, so it's okay.
Most of the meat dudes plus a couple others, I guess, right?
I will say the sequence where all the big guys were going and the crowd were chanting meat.
You loved it. I hated it.
Making me laugh so hard.
I was watching you be amused, and I was like, "This is so
it
annoying."
was so funny because I remember that happening in the Hobbs Miro match from All Out, and it was kind of funny, and just like all the 4 guys doing it, and just
it's not quite yeet levels annoying, but
it's so funny.
It's not really far behind.
Yeah, the yeet thing's stupid because it's like the same thing, but it's old, so it's like kind of stupid. It's like this old internet thing that's resurfacing for no reason. The meat thing, it makes me laugh.
So Hook, Powerhouse Hobbs, Lance Archer with Jake Roberts there, Lance Archer resurfaces for once. Brian Cage with Nana, Wardlow with Adam Cole, Taven, and Bennett, and Dante Martin in the match, not with them.
Yeah, so let's
and Jericho
pick apart this field for a second.
Go ahead.
Since we didn't have, I don't think we were working with the full selection when we made our predictions.
No.
But so Wardlow, hate him, but arguably makes sense a little because he's been gunning for the title.
Wants a title shot.
Been talking about a title
Correct.
shot. Hobbs, he's been doing pretty well with the Don Callis family. I'd say you can make a good case for him.
A case, I wouldn't say good. I'll allow a case.
Hook, he was world title adjacent before.
Good
he
match
is dominant.
with Joe.
So I say you can make a decent case for him.
Maybe.
But
not really.
Dante Martin.
No.
Why are you here?
Magnus?
No, I love Dante. Don't get me wrong, I love him. But like, I would have picked because I think he'd be Penta and Brian Keith. Penta hasn't been doing much either,
Everybody
but Penta's awesome.
Brian Keith.
I know. Brian Keith's just in matches.
Yeah.
But Penta would have been better. Magnus does not work for this company. He beat Matt Sydal. I'd question Matt Sydal. So in their defense, not in their defense, no. Matt Sydal or Magnus, I'd be questioning you either way.
Yes.
Jericho's old and he sucks. He just lost it to Takeshita. Don't put him anywhere.
We are not high on Jericho right now.
Archer, where does Archer go? He goes away and then resurfaces.
Does he go back to Japan all the time? I don't hear about it.
I don't think so. Am I missing anyone else's?
No, I think that's it. That's it.
There's maybe 3 people I can make a solid case for, and that's it.
By the way, I assume we both picked
Wardlow.
No, for the first 2 matches.
Oh.
We both picked Christian.
Yeah.
Pretty sure we both picked
Eddie.
I
should look at that then.
Yes, you should find that. I'm pretty sure we both picked those.
Yeah, and then I think we both won.
So I wasn't quite clear on what the rules of this match were, and I think even you were like, how does this end? Is it elimination? Is it a pinfall?
Yeah, because to me, like, the scramble sounds like the WWE Championship scrambles they used to do, where it's like, you have a certain amount of time, the guys enter. So it was kind of like Iron Survivor, but different because it's the guys enter at intervals like Iron Survivor, but it was you get a pinfall, you're the champion, the quote unquote champion, and then whoever's got the most recent pinfall when the time expires is the winner. So that's what the scramble means to me. To me, this was just like an 8-way.
Yeah, it was.
This one was different.
Yep. So we get 4 big guys right away posing early on, and then it's like a shoulder tackle battle with Meat Chance, and then clotheslines with Meat Chance. Wardlow and Archer end up alone in the ring, so they fight for a bit. Archer does like Undertaker's old school into a moonsault, and then tries a second time, but he gets caught by a spine buster from Hobbs instead. Wardlow does a Hurricane Rana, which always catches me by surprise. I have to give him credit for that. Then we get the smaller guys in, and I wrote that I almost forgot about them.
Yeah, I didn't love that because while I did find the Meat Chance hilarious when the 4 guys were going at it, it was like you can literally just see the other guys are waiting there, which on one hand I'm like that's stupid, but on the other hand I'm like I don't want to be in there when those 4 guys are going at it. So it's like you can at least excuse that, but I didn't like that. It's like these 4 guys are going, then we have to like switch the other 4 guys, and it's like
so yeah, we're at that point now. The smaller guys come in and they basically do the same thing as the big guys did, like a ha-ha, but they're smaller, and it felt kind of contrived.
And I would like to say Jericho's out of place completely here.
Yeah, it's kind of in between
because
everywhere. Neither big nor young.
Dante, Magnus can all do some decent things.
Yeah,
except that Magnus was all right.
He was fine.
Jericho, why is he here? Like I keep saying it.
He's helping to get the young ones over.
When has he done that?
Never. Yeah. Dives and flips onto the big guys. Hook double sledge off the top, like not the most exciting.
It's like, oh my god, Hook's going up top. Yeah. That was basically the only reason for that.
Quadruple superplexes splashed by Dante. Remember Dante clipped the ropes on a dive? Was a bit.
He pulled a top dollar, which kind of made me sad.
But it wasn't clean.
No.
As usual. Magnus 619, a rolling cutter to Dante. Bow and Arrow Jones we got from Taz. Not sure who applied it. I just noticed when he says things like that. Archer dominates Magnus with chokeslams him for a 2 count. Stereo lion salts to Archer. Parade of brief one-on-one matchups happen here. Wardlow Germans for everybody. Red Rum to Wardlow, Walls. What? Oh, and then Walls of Jericho to his other half. So Wardlow was in 2 submissions at once here, I think.
Yeah, I remember.
Hook with some suplexes for Jericho. We get a World's Strongest Slam to Jericho on the floor. There's a reference to his smoke machine and something.
Remember, like, Jericho randomly got sprayed with a smoke machine or something, and, like, they were talking about the smell, and then it was just never mentioned again until, like, randomly later in the show.
Yeah, it was just an odd little moment there.
It made no sense to me, and I still don't understand.
Then we get, like, a high-impact move parade with near falls. Dante gets shoved out of midair. Last ride to Dante. Wardlow wins after 18 minutes. Kind of what I thought it would be. Like, lots of pre-planned stuff. A little bit annoying at times. Some cool moves along the way. I think Jericho was the least noticeable in here, which is fine.
Yeah, but still.
Because if I notice him, I'm probably not going to like him at this point. Magnus looked kind of cool. The big guys got to do their thing. Felt like a filler throwaway, get some guys on a pay-per-view card.
Yeah, it was all right. Like, it wasn't bad, but it just felt like kind of a lull, and it was just like kind of a random. Yeah,
I went 3 stars, like average.
3 stars, yeah. Wardlow wins is predictable.
I said like empty calories, a little bit of fun, but like we knew who was going to win, right? He's the only one with a main event story or ish story.
Yeah, anything of the sort.
Yep. All right, then we get, it is Orange Cassidy defending whatever belt he has. Which
International.
There you go. There's too many.
Leveled up Atlantic.
That's right. He's taking on Roderick Strong here. I feel like I'm going to like this match more than a lot of people. You might be with me. Just because I like it. Cassidy's ribs are covered in tape, right? He has to be taped up, which for a guy who is the messiah of the backbreaker seems like a pretty nice formula, you know? And that's kind of what ended up here, right? So we get a pocket-assisted backbreaker, right?
Where that was cool.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. Cassidy gets dropped back first on the barricade. We get a Cassidy flurry, but he's still selling his back the whole time. Roddy grabs him and just kind of plants him. Repeated Roderick Strong backbreakers, right, of various types. It's not like the same one over and over. He's got a lot of them. Gut wrench into the backbreaker across the top turnbuckle. That was awesome. Looked awesome. Maybe not the best turnbuckle spot
yeah, I was going to say, it was awesome, but it was also outdone later in the night.
It was.
So.
Strong then bends Cassidy backwards around the ring post, like as Strong's on the floor. It looked cool, like a good spot to target the back. Cassidy DDT is countered into a nasty looking rib breaker. Cassidy counters into a stun dog, but Roddy fires back with a backbreaker. This is all about Roddy just focusing on that midsection and just delivering punishment. Lion Tamer to Roddy. Satellite DDT by Cassidy, diving DDT for a near fall. Cassidy Panama Sunrise for a near fall. Orange Punch gets countered into a backbreaker. Rising knee by Roddy. Orange Punch for Cassidy. Eventual beach break, but Roddy gets his foot on the ropes. Rising knee, end of heartache, and Roddy wins. 12 and a half minutes.
Pretty flat out.
Thought Roddy. They packed a lot into 12 and a half minutes.
No
here.
Interference either, which is really weird.
No, and then at the end, big return. Who's back?
Kyle O'Reilly.
Good Canadian
finally
boy.
Resurfaces. I was actually I popped for that one because I didn't expect him to just randomly show up.
He certainly didn't like dress up or clean up for his TV appearance.
He's got longer hair now. As I was saying to you, he looks like he's been in the woods with Von Wagner for too
long. He
does
look like he's been in the woods with Von Wagner. Like he just escaped Von Wagner's cabin in the woods.
Yeah.
And came straight to a pay-per-view.
Yep. Yeah. He's just casual looking, but like he kind of stands off with them, then hugs Roddy, then they offer him a shirt, then he gives it back to them and whispers something in Roddy's ear, then leaves looking all like sad and dejected.
Yeah, and they talk about it on Dynamite. They get an update from
But I'm super happy to see Kyle O'Reilly back because we love him. And
we do like him.
They've been saying it's been almost 2 years, which is crazy.
He's been gone a long time. I really enjoyed this match. Kind of like Eddie Danielson. It's 2 people in the perfect role, right? Cassidy's the master at pre-existing injuries and just taking punishment, and Roddy's a master of attacking the midsection, specifically the back, right? So... And this is the Roddy I love, just like move after move after move, targeting the back.
Relentless until he wears him down.
And it's a big win for him here. I thought that they got a lot in 12 and a half minutes. I gave this 3 3/4 stars. I quite enjoyed this. Felt like just kind of almost the perfect length. Title change, fine, but I really enjoyed the match.
I think you called that one.
Yeah, I did.
I thought this was really good. The story of like Roddy wearing down the back, then Cassie will get a flurry in, but he gets shut down pretty easy with another shot to the back. Was really good. It was well worked, and I don't think it was too long. It was a pretty good length. It honestly would have been served as a decent TV match too.
Yes,
but I think it works here as well, and the title change is notable.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for Roddy. I mean, I wouldn't have picked him to win. And not because I don't like Roddy, but just because I feel like this faction's going to sink the title, and the title's not going to bring them up.
He looked kind of cool with the title on Dynamite.
He looks good with the title, because I think that's a good-looking title, for sure. Just like on its own, I think it's a beautiful belt.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't think that this title's going to save this group, especially after this past week, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, we'll get there.
I feel like the faction's going to tank the title a little. Although, maybe Roddy, on his own merit of just being sick, can still keep the title afloat, because I'm just worried that this group kind of sucks, so they're gonna tank this title that Cassidy's worked really hard to build.
Right, it's possible.
But
right?
The match was really good. Couple cool spots. The turnbuckle one was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And the post match is interesting too. I'd like to see O'Reilly versus Strong.
And I love the end of Heartache, so getting to see that. Sweet.
He should try to hit Cassidy with that super one again.
Yeah. He should.
Like the over rotation.
Oh, that was crazy.
That was awesome.
Who does that?
Commander.
Commander. That's right. I was wondering. Had to be somebody flippy.
Yeah.
Next, we get a tag team match. It's Blackpool Combat Club, aka the Road Warriors.
Yeah.
In their homage to Road Warriors entrance gear, FTR. And so we get Dax and Claudio here starting out, trying to pin each other right away, repeatedly back and forth. Then a slap fight, uppercut, and chop exchange is next.
Blackpool love the slap fights this night.
They do. Mox and Cash take over. They go back and forth for a bit. Mox gets trapped in FTR's corner, and then Dax a little bit later in Blackpool's corner. Cash is sent over the barricade and back in by Moxley. We get a stalling gut wrench by Claudio. Cash needs a tag, but he can't quite get there. Blackpool continue to isolate him, including a Mox superplex and some taunting. Finally, Dax hot tag. He dominates both of the Blackpool for a little bit. Cash, one little nitpick. Cash tags back in pretty quickly. Seems foolish, right?
That happens sometimes in tag matches.
Dominated forever. Tags out for a quick breath, and then he's back in. So he gets taken out quickly by Claudio, and now Dax is busted open. Claudio counters a Doomsday device into a power slam ? So that means I wasn't quite sure if that's an accurate report, but it's something similar, if not that. Spike air raid crash by Blackpool for a 2 count. A Dax powerbomb to Mox for a 2 count. Spike pile driver to Mox for a 2 count. Doomsday uppercut by Blackpool. And Dax lands hard on that one. All 4 are exchanging strikes. Claudio blocks the Shatter Machine, swings Dax into a Mox kick for 2. Mox with elbows and bites to Dax's cut, which was a little bit gross. Doomsday device to Moxley for 2. Shatter Machine to Moxley, but Claudio pulls Dax off the pin. Sorry, smash contraption is more correct. Cash dive into an uppercut and a neutralizer on the floor. Dax pile drives Claudio. A lot of action here, obviously. Back in the ring, Death Rider to Dax for 2. Choke and, what was it, just the bully choke or whatever? Or just his, I can't remember.
Bulldog choke.
Anyways, Dax is out. Blackpool win the match after,
which we did not pick. I was
about 21 minutes.
I really like this.
Awesome.
It was a super straightforward match, but just really great. Super smash mouth, but like
it was.
Both these teams are so good. I think Mox and Claudia are proving themselves to be a pretty good tag team together.
Absolutely.
If you want to throw them in that tournament, I am more than happy with that.
I think they might have to. They're talking about bracket, like a big bracket. So
I heard the word brackets.
Yes. So that means you have 2 sides of a large bracket, because of March Madness is coming up this week, right? So they're trying to make allusions to that. It's not the only giant bracket this week or whatever.
I guess so. That makes sense. But both these teams are great. FTR is always great. And this was just really good. It was super simple. The story is super simple. The action was great.
And we didn't know who was going to win.
We didn't know who was going to win. I just kind of made the assumption it's going to be FTR.
Me too.
Not off of what I would think.
Yeah.
But this was really great. A lot of hard hitting action. They had some good stuff. I know it's hard to talk about because it's really simple, but it's just really
hard hitting, bloody. And I'm hoping they're you're kind of saying they're using this to establish this division.
Yeah, this felt like it was a quality thing to put on a pay-per-view, but it also felt just establishing the tournament. And they could cross paths in the tournament and revisit this.
And that's where if you're doing 2 sides of the bracket, maybe they're on either sides, and you can run it back. I don't know. There's lots of options.
Something like that for sure.
Yep. I gave this 4 stars. I thought it was awesome. Another 4-star match on this show. There's going to be some coming up.
4. I like it.
AEW Women's Championship, not 4 stars.
This is another lull for me.
Agree. Unfortunate. Timeless Toni Storm.
Unfortunate, but not completely unexpected.
With Mariah May and Luther.
I had hopes.
And taking on Deonna Purrazzo here. And so we got fooled a little. It's old school. Tony Storm
They played
comes
the
out.
pre-Outcast Tony Storm theme, and then she came out, and it was Mariah May dressed up as like Tony Storm when she came to AEW. They got me. Like, it
and
looks
I said
legit.
that you were disappointed. We were both like, okay, that's a better version, right?
Yeah,
now.
it's like I feel like that's the effect that Jericho wants with Lionheart Jericho. It's like he'll come as Lionheart Jericho. It's like, oh, okay.
And in a way,
like, legit, I was just hoping for not Outcast Storm, not Timeless Storm, just like straight up Tony Storm, because that's when I actually started to like her.
And character-wise, I kind of like it because I think it's Tony messing with Deonna, going, you wanted, because she was like, I want the old
like
Tony
that,
Storm,
yeah.
and it's like, oh, here she is. Nope, I'm still the weird one.
And in all that dress up and whatever, Mariah May did look the part.
Oh my God,
I'll tell you that, like, legit, for all of 3 seconds.
Still
they
doing
had
it on
me.
Dynamite, right?
Yeah, and it looks like, honestly, the only thing that was different about Storm actually in that time was that she didn't have her hair that long. That's literally the only thing. But even then,
the face and everything even looks similar.
Even then, it still didn't register with me until like I was like, wait a minute. And then Deonna was shaking her head. I was like, oh, okay. But like, credit to them because they definitely fooled me there.
There was holds and counters to start this, and I don't think in a bad way here for quite a while because both of them are good technically, right? So armbar attempt to Storm immediately gets to the ropes, sliding drop kick to Storm on the floor. Ref gets caught in the corner, so we get a Storm mule kick to gain control. And then my question, is Storm methodical or slow? Like, it's just methodical's a nice way of saying it, I guess.
I mean, she might be
it was
like
slow here,
because like usually she's good though. But again, with this Timeless character, she's had to like change her work so much. It's just like she is good, but not this Tony Storm isn't good, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
Like I said, regular Tony Storm, I actually started to like her because I hated her in WWE. I thought she sucked.
Yeah.
But now it's just like kind of reverting back, and I don't know, because even Outcast, like she did solid in ring work because she still wrestled like a normal person.
Right. Deonna flatliner for 2, hip attack.
Didn't break anyone's neck or anything.
No, hip attack DDT, but Deonna kicks out. Ankle lock by Storm. Deonna escapes.
What did she call it? It was break a leg, because
right,
obviously. Which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah,
like kind of it reminds EVP trigger kind of thing.
Boots Storm into Luther's arms and then comes off the top onto both. Deonna armbar interference. Ref missed Storm tapping, of course, so we got the visual tap. Didn't count.
The phantom tap out.
DDT to Deonna and it's over.
No, it was the Storm Zero. It was the really quick pile driver she does.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it was really sudden finish.
Never got into full gear for me. I thought stretches of it were slow. It didn't feel like the bitter feud, like former best friends that traveled the road and blah, blah, blah. It just felt like two people having a pretty quick match.
Any of the feud really felt like it was like, I thought they were starting to do a solid job building up the friendship thing, but then like it never really felt as heated as I think it was supposed to.
I agree.
And I feel like the match especially lacked heat and just lacked like exciting action. So I feel like if you had another 10-15 of like super exciting near falls and ending sequences, then it would have been warranted, but I feel like it just really built up to nothing. And then like the finish I might have expected after, again, a more drawn out match, but it just came kind of suddenly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, it wasn't great. It wasn't horrible, but it just wasn't really great either.
And we're not loving Storm's character, and then Purrazzo coming in as a face, but being a face who's like, I'm awesome and a technical genius. Like, is that face?
I don't know.
Because the Virtuosa is a heel and she's awesome, but putting her in this as a baby face, but a baby face who all she does is brag about her abilities. It's like, am I really rooting for you? Because the crowd really likes Tony Storm, right? So it's, I don't know. I think
but it's like
the
Tony
dynamic
was
really a little bit
a
twisted.
baby face either. Because,
no.
So it's like
the dynamic wasn't clear or twisted or
it's
something.
Kind of skewed.
But anyways, so I gave that one 3 stars as well. Just kind of average.
Sure.
You'd probably go 2 3/4, 2.5.
Almost, but that feels a little mean, so I'll go 3.
Things pick up. We get Will Ospreay versus Konosuke Takeshita.
In other words, the match I was avoiding spoilers for.
Match of the night, the match we were most looking for.
Maybe my favorite match of the year so far.
The match that forced this kid to stay away from spoilers.
Yeah, because I was working, so we'd have to start an hour late. And I avoided spoilers until I watched this match, simply because like this was one of the matches on the show where I felt like it could go either way.
Right.
And because this is one of those matches where I want to experience it full throttle, right? And it's like literally after this was done, I was like, okay, I don't care anymore. I got spoiled on like the world title match and the Sting match, but like I don't care. I just wanted
this
to
is the one.
This is the match.
Callis joins commentary.
And it's purely on the merit of these two guys because the story is not super deep. So
and that's what kept me from rating it the way I would rate it if there were.
It is a bit of a hindrance to me, but at the same time, it was just too good.
So holds and counters early on. I write they're both so fast. Sweet.
Actually, I wanted to talk about the entrances real quick.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Ospreay, I was telling you, Ospreay has felt big time, man.
Yes, he did.
Just like the lighting when he came into the ring, the robe was awesome.
Yeah.
The lighting when he came into the ring was awesome. And then he got like, cause there's that one part in the song where they chant Ospreay, so you got the crowd to do it, and you can hear it really good, and it felt really big time, so I like that. And then also Takeshita used his solo theme for the first time in a long time, because usually it just comes into the Callus theme.
The note.
And like I noticed it's different. I was like, oh, does he have a new theme? But then I started to hear it because I've listened to his theme a bunch before.
Yeah.
And like it's generic. It fits him, but it's generic, and it's like, and I noticed it's weird because I don't know if it like fully fits heel Takeshita, but it works well enough. It was just interesting he used it for the first time in a while. But anyways, I just want to talk about that because Ospreay it felt like a big arrival.
Yeah.
Which I really liked because he is a big arrival.
He feels important for sure.
So yeah, it just felt really big.
Super fast, both guys. Really nice Rana from Ospreay. His is so quick, right? It just looks more effective than everybody else's somehow.
Somewhat forceful for how quick it is.
Takeshita Lion, Jack is happy. Stiff forearm delayed superplex from Takeshita.
I wish he got more run up on the Takeshita line because that's when it looks best.
Wasteland and a second rope senton by Takeshita. He
does a really good diving senton.
Yes, it looks heavy.
Yeah.
Stiff forearms out of a reverse DDT grip by Takeshita. I didn't know how else to describe it.
He was like, kind of like holding him over and then like just forearming him down to the mat, kind of, yeah.
Springboard elbow strike slows Takeshita finally. Flipping corkscrew kick by Ospreay.
It's that handspring into the corkscrew kick that looks awesome.
Crossbody to the floor. High back suplex by Ospreay for 1. Sudden Takeshita fireman's carry faceplant and a running kick to the face. Dive to the floor. Both men are down.
That's a nice sequence he always does, like the fireman's carry, facebuster, and then the drop kick.
It looks awesome. Knees up on a Takeshita top rope senton. High angle bridging German by Takeshita for 2.
Yeah, Ospreay like perfect on his shoulders and neck. It looked crazy.
It looked awesome. Awesome flurry with too much going on to keep up, culminating in a flipping crossbody question mark by Ospreay. You know that where they sort of look like they're running at each other and collide, and he just does the
Spanish fly.
Yeah, is that what it was?
Yeah, it looked a little weird
right
here,
into
but
a pinfall, right?
It was, but that was like the Spanish fly. I don't remember exactly what the sequence was, but it was awesome.
I was too fast for me to bother without having to pause and go back a couple times.
Choppy, something.
Strikes to Takeshita with the last being a rolling elbow. The ref is checking on him. Huge forearm from Takeshita and another.
Yeah, so he hit him with like a couple forearms that looked awesome. And then like Ospreay came back with kicks, and then Takeshita hit him with like the mother of all forearms. Yeah. Like it was honestly probably better than that one he hit with Ishii.
Oh, it's right here. Ospreay is defiant. Elbow pad off. Takeshita kills Ospreay. Jack giggles.
It was like, it's one of those ones where they hit him so hard, you have no reaction other than to laugh at it because you don't know how to interpret that. Because he, like, when I tell you it was like quite literally the mother of all forearms, it's like a miracle that's not killing his face for real because it looked killer. It was crazy.
It's one of those things I don't understand. Like I ask about Danielson stomps to the head, like why does it look like he's actually just stomping you in the head? Why is he so much better at that than everybody?
Takeshita's forearms over Danielson's stomps because the forearms are crazy. I can't with
Takeshita's knees and like
the power drive knee or the Wagamama, it's so good.
He's coming up again, but Cassius Ohno strikes give you the same vibes.
Oh yeah, he had like the discus boot which always looks sick.
Sorry, so many counters. Hook kick, tiger driver by Ospreay.
That hook kick by Ospreay, like it's like a super kick, but he's kind of coming from beside or behind you,
and it's believable because that angle they don't really see it coming.
It always looks so good, though.
It's Ospreay, and you should know, but you never know when it's coming.
It always looks so good, and he did it to Fletcher a bunch too in Dynamite. It's just It's so satisfying to look at.
Awesome spot with the Os Cutter is caught into the blue thunder bomb.
Oh my god, that was perfect. That's one of those things where like he catches him wrong or he messes up on the spin and it's done, but Takeshita does it perfectly.
It's because it's almost like he's trying to do it in such an explosive, powerful way. He almost loses control of it, and I like that.
It was it
recovers
was realistic,
and hits it.
Yeah, but Takeshita, like his Blue Thunder Bomb in general is just amazing. He always has so good.
Again,
this
extra
just
stink
awesome.
on it somehow.
He puts extra spin and extra stink on it. Yeah, it was awesome. That was an amazing counter.
Os Cutter connects finally for 2. Hidden Blade stopped by another stiff Takeshita forearm. Really limp kick out by Ospreay. I like the selling, the details, right?
It was,
Cheeky Nando's.
Which is that's the for those who don't know, it's like that thing where Takesha's kind of bend the corner, his head's against the top turnbuckle, and Ospreay super kicks him through
Always
Takesha's
looks
legs.
good.
Yeah, I always like that spot.
And the thing I like about Ospreay almost all the time, maybe all the time, is he does it quickly enough that the guy doesn't look stupid.
Yeah.
He gets his head trapped and it's like immediate, maybe it's mini taunt or something, but then a kick right away.
Face, yeah.
This is then the turnbuckle brainbuster spot by Takeshita.
Yeah.
He's done it before. This time he kind of missed it, and it made it look
head missed the turnbuckles, and like and he had this like big bruise on his back.
Yeah.
It looked awesome.
And I think he was still selling it on Dynamite too, or maybe selling's the wrong word. Like actually still hurt.
They mentioned it at least.
Yeah, they did. A close up of Ospreay's back contusion, as you say, needed the face
the Wagamama or the power drive. It's like the camera almost cut too late, but it still looks awesome. Like Takesha's knee is probably the best in the business right now.
Awesome.
Like honestly, I put his knee over the V trigger. It's just he does it so well.
And Dar's back elbow and Andrade's back elbow.
We need it's Takesha's forearm, Takesha's the Wagamama, Dar's back elbow, Andrade's back elbow. It's crazy.
Jericho, no, just kidding. Just kidding.
But it looks so good. He just absolutely smushes in the face. Like this is a finisher knee, not Trick Williams' knee. This is a knee that finishes matches. Knee? Yeah, like his knee's awesome.
Stun Dog Poison Rana by Ospreay. Crazy sequence. Takeshita kicks out of something. That's your professional details there, folks. You're welcome.
Wasn't the Poison Rana? Didn't he hit a hidden blade and Takeshita kicked out at 1?
Yeah.
Or was that later?
No, that's probably it because I don't see it coming up later.
Takeshita kicked out 1 of with the hidden blade, which was crazy, but I'm all for making Takeshita look like $1 million.
Me too. Running Takeshita clothesline turns Ospreay.
Oh yeah, that was the one
out.
where you just went like limp fish on the cell.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Ospreay Styles Clash for 2. Gross.
No, didn't he like powerbomb him and they lifted him up into a Styles Clash?
Yeah, gross.
He went for the knee, powerbomb, Styles Clash. That's what it was.
Tiger Driver, hidden blade, and it's over after only 21 minutes.
Might point out Tiger Driver 91, and this was the closest to the Omega one.
It was high, but not that high.
It wasn't that high, but it was pretty high. Like, and then the hidden blade always like absolutely smashes his face in.
Kyle Fletcher comes out, and we're gonna get Fletcher Ospreay on Dynamite,
which we did.
Man, this match. Like,
I don't have enough nice things to say about this.
Go ahead, you can talk first.
I absolutely love this. I knew this was gonna be great the moment I saw it, and like, so I love Ospreay Omega. That was my favorite match of all time. This was probably like the match that reminds me most of that, and my expectations were super high for this going in, and I don't think I ever thought it was going to be as good as that, and it wasn't, but it fully delivered on my expectations. I thought I absolutely love both these guys. Definitely 2 of my favorites in the world right now. Just the amount of crazy spots they did were great. These back and forth sequences were awesome. Both of their finishers are killer. Hidden Blade's awesome. The Wagamama's awesome. The Oz Cutter to counter the Blue Thunder Bomb was awesome. The Tiger Driver, the Brainbuster in the corner. Both of them just like the kicks and forearms. That one forearm where he killed him is crazy. Some really good near falls. This one truly benefited from, because we always say it doesn't always matter if you know who's winning, but this one really benefits from not knowing who's winning.
Absolutely.
What did I assume Ospreay was going to win? Yeah. Was I hopeful Takeshita was going to win? Also, yeah. So
yeah, like 70-30. You know, I think I picked Takeshita.
We did end up taking Takeshita in the end, but like I'm not mad either way because Takeshita looks great here. Kicked out of 1 of a hidden blade. And I saw a lot of people complaining about like some of the no selling this, but it's like. That's part of wrestling sometimes, and I feel like
if that bothers you, I get it, and this match will bother you. But
I don't think this one was egregious overselling, though. I feel like a lot of the times where he did, and Ospreay would come back with like a hidden blade or something, you could like an adrenaline rush is a thing. I feel like with all the things they took in here, getting that adrenaline rush and then going back on to get something on him it makes sense. I don't think the overselling was egregious here, so I don't really see that as a problem, because sometimes it is. Like when we had that one match with Cassie and Penta where it's destroyer.
Yeah, that bugged me.
That's
ridiculous. Limit,
but I feel like this one, like there's maybe a couple times where they no-sold and powered through, but like to me it was Ospreay, he took something then went right back with like a hidden blade or something, but then he's down. So that's why to me it's like that adrenaline rush. He powers through for a moment just to kind of get a hit back.
And to me, honestly, what you're doing is this match format or whatever style is allowing guys that do amazing stuff better than everybody else to do that stuff. And if that's the like suspension of disbelief I have to do to get that, I'm okay with it.
This is easy for me. Yeah, this was awesome. I was originally going a little lower, but I'm gonna go. I'm caught between it. I think the story needs to be there for a 5 star, so I'm gonna go 4 3/4.
Yep. That was my rationale. I went 4.5, but
I want to give it 5 stars because it was amazing.
It was fantastic.
It's definitely my favorite match of the year.
I will watch it again.
I already watched it again.
Yeah.
And I will watch it again. It's my favorite so far. I think there's definitely room to do better just because I think Ospreay is going to have bigger matches. I think we tell a good story with him and Danielson. That could top this.
Right. And that's the only thing that was missing was more backstory.
Really it. And I don't think anything's going to top Ospreay Omega, but in terms of this year, I think this will be topped, but it's still amazing, and I loved every second of it.
This just felt like the only other thing I would say, 2 of the best wrestlers in the world just being given 20 minutes to go a million miles an hour.
It did feel like what it was kind of supposed to be, because Don Callis thing was just like giving 2 of the best another one of the best to fight, and that's basically what this was. And it was perfectly delivered on that. Fantastic. It honestly felt kind of a little longer than it was to me, and I wish it was a little longer. If I'm being honest, like I would have gone even like 25 would be perfect.
Yeah, they could approach half an hour, and I wouldn't bat an eye.
I would not have cared. But this
awesome
was awesome
match of the night.
Absolutely my favorite.
If you listen to this to sort of figure out what to watch, you watch this.
Watch the Continental match for sure. Actually, and this was like, at least for me who likes both of them, this is the kind of match that easily sells the pay-per-view for me. Just the match alone.
Now, the next match, I'm curious to get your thoughts on it, because I'm not sure if I'm higher on it than some, but we'll see. And this is what should be the main event. Samoa Joe defending the championship against Hangman and Swerve Strickland.
I think this one, not to say too much yet, but I feel like it was built up better in my mind.
Yeah, it
wasn't bad by any stretch, but I feel like just there was more potential to be tapped into here, and maybe we suffer from a bit of post-Ospreay Takeshita syndrome.
Could be a bit of that, right?
I think it's just also... I just feel like more could have been done with this.
My first note, is this the first match JR joined us for? Because he stammers through the first couple sentences. We rewound it, and we're like, what is he even saying here?
I think I try not to remember.
First 2 lines out of his mouth, he got all tangled up. And I'm on the record, he's the best commentator of all time, but not anymore, right? Like, hit in his peak, nobody better, but this is far from that. Anyways, Joe's in control early. He dives onto Swerve, kicks Page to stop Page's dive. Low bridge takes out Joe. Swerve attacks Page. Not sure about Swerve's gold sleeves.
Yeah, gold sleeves are... I like the rest of the gear, and he had like some gold on the tights, but yeah, I don't think he needed sleeves.
Sleeves were a lot.
I liked Hangman's gear though, because he had like pink flowers on the side, and they had like pink on the from the knee pad. And I saw someone point out that could be like a flower pot, which is nice. And I like that it was all black on the other side, just kind of gives it like a little darker, but it had like a splash of color, you know.
Swerve sees Joe about to get up, so he hits a senton to the floor and goes back to attacking Page. Hangman hits a belly to belly and stops the momentum. An awkward kick out by Page, as Joe, I think, was late getting there.
Yeah,
remember?
There's a couple kickouts that didn't quite work.
Yeah. Joe back in control, powerbomb, and the Uranagi out of the corner, I think, to Page into a crossface until Swerve breaks it up. Swerve gets headbutted off the top to the floor by Joe. Swerve is now bleeding under his right eye. Page keeps punching Swerve in the face, and Swerve just keeps on laughing, right? He's trying to open up that wound even more, it seems like. Crowd is really quiet, I thought.
Crowd is
again, a bit of it, maybe just so much energy expended in the match before, because I didn't mind the action here. Page tombstone to Swerve. Page counters Joe's corner Uranagi. Swerve powerbomb and rolling cutter with the float over vertical suplex. That smooth thing that he always does. Or sorry, what? No.
He does the rolling flatliner.
Are you sure? Muscle Buster
does it every time.
Swerve stomp to Joe. House call to Joe. Then Page for a 2 count. Swerve 450 to Joe's back. Swerve stomp. Page kind of pulls out the ref.
That was the other count that wasn't quite timed.
Because he was a little late pulling the ref, but then he follows through and pulls the ref out hard, right? Because he's selling heel Page now. Third buckshot. Page belt shot to Swerve while the ref is down. Then another. Buckshot on Joe, then another. We get the visual pin, and I'll talk about...
I thought Joe looked kind of dumb waiting for the buckshot. I thought he was going to like catch him with something.
I really like this detail. I'll talk about it at the end. New ref shows up, but Joe kicks out. Third buckshot countered into a choke. Swerve with the twisting senton to both.
That was awesome.
Nana gives Swerve his crown, but Swerve gives it back because he's a babyface now. Like, a lot of solidifying of characters here. Hangman assaults another referee.
Beats up poor Bryce Remsburg.
Another buckshot to Joe, then a Swerve buckshot out of the corner to Page. JML driver, but Joe applies a choke to Page. Page taps in just under 20 minutes. So, I'll go first on this one if you don't mind.
Okay.
Result what I expected.
Yep.
Not exactly the finish I expected. I kind of liked my idea for a finish a little better.
I was on that bandwagon as well.
But I think they did a different take because commentary kind of went out of their way to point out
Swerve.
That Page kind of tapped out fast because I think he saw Swerve was going to get back involved. And the idea is that he tapped out to end the match, kind of like, no, you're not coming back and doing anything. Will sacrifice myself here, right?
Which is kind of what we were saying.
I kind of like that. So you've got,
all right.
I like this match quite a bit. Page attacking the ref solidifies his heel turn. Swerve solidifies his face turn, refusing to cheat. And I also liked that Page's hatred of Swerve, right? Because he took out the referees to stop Swerve's pinfall, and then he hit the buckshots right after that, and the ref's not there to count the pinfall for Page.
And he got mad at the ref.
Because he did that all to stop Swerve. It's like his obsession with Swerve cost him the championship.
Which is kind of what we were saying, right? So it did kind of work out.
It cost him the championship once by accident in the middle and once on purpose at the end. Because he taps out without... Because it's Page. He should go unconscious or whatever. But it's almost like, nope, Swerve's going to come back in and stop
It is weird that you would tap to the Coquina clutch too, yeah.
So yeah, I thought that the storytelling in this, the action maybe wasn't a full 4 stars, but the storyline, especially of what Page is doing here, brought it up to 4 stars for me. I really liked it with the storytelling. So I went 4 stars, which I feel like might be higher than some people.
Yeah, I liked it quite a bit. I feel like it did fall kind of short of expectations because I feel like I wish the action was there more.
Yeah.
I feel like Joe was kind of a second-rate player here, which kind of
a little bit of a... Yeah, the story between Page and Swerve seemed to be the forefront.
Yeah. Which was also good because, like you said, they did really well. And I thought Hangman Page is probably the MVP of this match just because his work here was what kind of held the glue that held the match together for sure. And I think it does suffer from being in poor card placement.
Yeah,
for sure, because to catch Ospreay, forget about it.
Yes.
Forget about it.
So in a vacuum, I think this was quite good.
In a vacuum, yeah, I thought it was good, and I think
directly compared, it's not.
The finish put in a different light is quite smart. But yeah, I thought it was really good. I'd probably give it. I'll probably go 4 because I feel like 3 3/4 is too low.
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
So yeah, I thought it was good, right result, and I feel like the storyline was kind of there,
mm-hmm.
and you could even see Swerve going after Hangman more so in some regards. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Main event time. I was not happy with the positioning of this, but who knows? Things
also
could
not
turn
surprised.
Out. Young Bucks taking on Darby Allin and Sting.
Bucks have the Cody Vader, which is funny.
And they use his entrance, and you've got a bunch of old timers there, right? Steamboat and Flair.
Who? Wait, sorry.
That guy.
Who? Which one? Which?
Richard Flair.
Richard Fleer.
Yes, Richard Fleer. We get a lengthy Sting video ahead of his entrance.
Wait, which energy drink is your favorite? We got Prime and Woo Energy.
Right. Oh, God. That's a tough choice. The video was really good, but I'm not going to get into it. But it was cool.
Really long. It was just Sting in the movie theater watching highlights, and they were smart because they can't really. There's a lot of Sting footage they can't use.
Yes.
So they used Sting, like Surfer Sting in Japan footage, and like pictures of him. So they had a smart workaround. Yeah, it sucks they couldn't use all the footage they should be able to have, but like they did the best they could.
Yeah, it was a nice package. His kids come out, Sting's that is, dressed as earlier versions of him. I thought that was cool.
Sting, one's Wolfpack Sting. That was a nice touch.
I thought it was a nice touch.
And then he came out to the Metallica song too.
Yes. Darby immediately dives onto the Bucks. Sting's kids get involved early, and I'm annoyed early on. I'm like, ugh, this is where we're going. So they hit Stinger splashes. We get double Scorpion Deathlocks to the Bucks. Yeah, they didn't stay involved
Sting
for long.
Did the double Scorpion Deathlock, not the double Scorpion Deathlocks. He did like the double sharpshooter thing that always does.
Both of them
never works ever.
So at the beginning of this, I'm like, they're doing stuff that I wouldn't have made those choices. But Sting no-sells punches, of course, sends Bucks into the barricade. Tables and chairs get taken out.
Bucks look real, like they really got chumped out in the early on.
They did. We get a Darby coffin drop to both on the floor. The faces get some pieces of glass out, some panes of glass, and put them on 6 chairs at ringside. So 3 chairs along each side and a couple panes of glass piled on top. Wonder why. Who could be going through that? Crowd brawling for a bit as the Bucks are trying to just run away.
I don't think I would have imagined what it was, though.
The cowardly heels. We get a nice Falcon Arrow. So this, like, all of a sudden kicks into, like, crazy gear, right? From the stage. We get Nick Falcon Arrow through the tables off the stage to Darby Allin. Then on the other side, we get Sting suplexed off the stage through a table on the other. Like, so I'm like, okay, there you go. Sting took a big spot. He's probably done for the night.
He didn't no-sell it either.
Yes, but he was not done. You can talk about this one. MJS farts when he gets bear hugged, apparently.
That's awesome. Just like they're going down the ramp, and the one person
just a small sign
has a little sign that says MJF farts when he gets bear hugged.
We enjoyed it very much.
Which is awesome because not only is that completely random, but MJF hasn't been seen in months.
Right.
And I don't know if I've ever seen him get bear hugged. So
just a random insult.
That's awesome. I was telling you that had the same vibe as Goldberg eats corn the long way.
Yeah, basically.
What relevance does that have to anything?
Yeah. Darby gets powerbombed onto a ladder that was set up in the corner. We get a stun dog to one buck, a code red to the other from Darby. Because Sting's sort of been removed, right, out on from the table spot off the ramp. Allen repeatedly rams Nick's head off the steps, then lies him on the glass.
Or like against the glass.
It's a really big ladder in the middle of the ring.
It's one of those like ridiculously tall ladders that should never be existing.
And he climbs it, and Nick moves.
He goes to the top. He like jumps to the outside. So you got like the big ladder in the ring, like here. Then outside the ring is like the glass.
Yeah.
And Nick. And so Matt pulls Nick out of the way. Darby like jumps and just goes to the floor through the glass, and he's just like dead.
Just a senton right through panes of glass, and
on the chairs.
We need to save this man from himself.
And he's just
back
like
is bleeding,
absolutely
seeping blood from
after.
like
just
20
like
different places.
Both sides. Yeah, he had to be like sits like crazy after. He's basically out for the rest of the match. Like he does a bit more after, but like he's basically done. And the way he looks after this match is crazy, just with all the blood. But yeah, someone needs to stop this guy.
This is the spot you'll all see a million times. This will be like an iconic sort of thing.
If Mount Everest doesn't kill him, I don't know what will.
Partly because of the spot itself and the like the importance of the match, right?
Yeah.
This will be a thing.
I don't know it's going to take for this guy to stop doing things.
Right.
Like he's going to Everest. I don't know. Like, and like what else does he do for spots? Like that was
madness.
Crazy.
And like you said, so now Darby is basically down. Sting gets back in the ring and he fires up. At one point, Nick ends up kicking Matt by accident. Sting then taking more punishment here. He gets powerbombed off a ladder through a table, but gets up immediately. Normally bugs me, but this is I can believe the ultra adrenaline of his retirement match, right?
That's
I can
fair,
forgive.
And I made
more.
that case in Osprey Takeshita, so I'll take it here for sure, because he does end up going right back into another punishment.
Sting thrown then through a pane of glass that's set up in the corner, right? So now there's three big dangerous things this 60-plus-year-old man has taken.
That was crazy, because he's done tables before.
Yes.
Sometimes by accident.
Correct.
But
Scorpion
glass is crazy.
Scorpion death drop by Matt to Sting, but Sting kicks out. Then Steamboat steps in here, right? Stops Nick from getting a belt. Matt takes Steamboat out with a chair to the gut. Flair comes in and he's protecting Sting now, but he gets double super kicked. And I heard somewhere that apparently they said, "I'm not sorry, I hate you," to do the anti-Shawn Michaels, which if that's true,
this is awesome.
I mean, I love that detail. Steamboat then gets kicked off the apron. Belt shot to Sting for a 2 count. Double super kick to Sting, but he's still standing. He fires up, double clothesline, and a death drop to Matt. EVP triggered to Sting now for 2. Then another one. Sting is now defiant. More super kicks. Just beating the heck out of this old man, right? Like, honestly. TK Driver.
Melted
that's
Driver.
The new one. TK Driver broken up when Darby shoves Nick off the top through a table.
Yeah, so there's Darby still alive.
Coming back.
He literally went to the media scrum and he said he just wanted to let people know he's still alive, which is funny.
It's good to know. We need updates a lot from him.
Honestly.
Death drop to Matt for 2. Coffin drop to Matt. Deathlock to Matt. And Buck ends up...
Matthew Jackson.
Right. EVP Matthew Jackson taps out after 21 minutes. Darby gets the crowd to cheer for Sting one more time. Sting makes a speech to end the show, putting over Darby and the crowd and the fans in the process, but it gets cut off because they're at a hard stop, I guess, on this pay-per-view, so it's literally like done.
I think the rest of it was on social media or something. I believe this puts us as at a tie pick, too.
Of course.
You didn't take this one.
I did not.
And I did. So
Sting retires undefeated in AEW. Cool touch.
I guess.
And we're not big Sting fans, as you
Never
know,
was.
but this match... over-delivered
I did like
for
this.
Me. I thought it was pretty awesome.
I don't want to say I liked it, but I liked it.
I know. Lots of cool stuff. And as I said, Sting's no selling bothered me less because it's easier to imagine, like, his adrenaline in his last match ever allows him to just take this beating. And fair play to him, man. He did some things that wrestlers in their 30s, 20s
2 table spots going through glass.
Right?
Like, I do respect that to a degree.
Darby's spot on the ladder was crazy, iconic.
I can't with Darby. He's he scares me sometimes, but it was crazy to watch. Like, that's one of those things that'll live forever, because that's like
part of me is like, he's a grown man and he's choosing to do these things, and then the other part of me is like, somebody stop this kid, right? Like, he needs did he endure some sort of trauma he needs to work through?
Was he like 30 or something?
So, like, yeah,
it's like he's not making it very long.
I don't even know if he's 30 yet, actually.
He's crazy.
I thought awesome effort by all four. The fact, again, I didn't know who was going to win helped me get into the neater falls.
I knew who was going to win.
The end sequence was pretty powerful. Turned out to be worthy of the main event. I was critical. I gave it 4 stars. I thought this was a really good match.
Yeah, I really liked it. I thought it started off not good.
Agreed.
I didn't like.
They started doing some things that I was like, here we go.
And the double sharpshooter, right? And the Bucks were just kind of heavy on the back burner. Once it started kind of getting more evened out,
as soon as they got to the stage, boom,
some crazy spots, yeah, and then Sting taking a beating at the end. Like, I thought this was actually good, and for once, I'll say I like the Sting match. I don't think there's been a single Sting match other than this that I genuinely liked.
Right.
The last one that he had was, I guess Starks and Bill, which I didn't love, but like one of the last ones he had was the Takeshita Hobbs one, which we hated.
Mm-hmm.
So
we did.
I thought this was a much, much better match. I thought this was great. Sting did go out on his own terms and like went out on his sword or whatever. So I think that was great. Like, I think it over-delivered for me as someone who
for sure
has not at all been a fan of Sting for even one moment.
This was a cool,
in his entire run.
Very memorable last match for him, and I hope he's one of the ones that actually stays retired.
I think at this point he has to, because I feel like the fact that he even had this AEW run is a miracle.
And he can't feel regrets about this match.
I think
that's one of the problems, is they're like, it wasn't the match I wanted. That, like, what more could he have wanted here?
I think that you could have said that for Shawn Michaels until he went to Saudi.
Right.
But like,
that was a money
Sting,
situation.
I feel like some of the things in this run are kind of questionable to me, because I feel like there's some people who he should not be going over, or should not be looking better than, and there are plenty of people that look stupid because they have to deal with him. But in a vacuum, this last match is something for him to be proud of, for sure.
Agree.
It was definitely memorable for multiple reasons, and I think it was quite good. So I will agree on that 4 stars.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it'll end up on like best match of the year or anything for me, but it'll be memorable, and I think it was a good way to go out for something I didn't care about until this match.
So obviously, with the number of 4-star matches, this is a really fantastic show.
Really strong show, yeah.
Women's match and Scramble were the only 2 things that I would say you don't need to see. Everything else, if you watch it, I think really you'll be thoroughly entertained.
I would say watch the Continental Crown, the Ospreay Takeshita, and honestly, check out the main event.
And the tag match, too.
And that's fair.
So, I mean, match of the night, Takeshita Ospreay, not close, but like, I don't know, 3 or 4 other 4-star matches. I gave it an A-. It could be an A, but I went A-.
A- show. A really strong first pay-per-view for them, and this is why I like not having pay-per-views every month, because this one has been like kind of built since the beginning of the year.
And wasn't the last one the weak one that I was kind of not thrilled to pay for?
Last one was the really weak one, the World's End, because
I have no problem paying for this one.
That was the one where it came like really close after Full Gear, which was a really good show. Mm-hmm. But then like World's End was one of the ones that they added to have more pay-per-views. And it's like, so I'm hoping Dynasty, the next one, is good, and it looks like we'll be getting Ospreay Danielson, which is already like a pay-per-view selling match.
Right.
So yeah, this was really good. I would agree with A-. It was a really worthwhile show, and just
great show.
A lot to love on this one for sure.
Yep. And it makes me feel like AEW is kind of coming back. Like,
they are coming back. I feel like this is
what I expect out of them.
This year's been like, because I feel like the first time it was really good. It was like we're coming back, and there's been kind of some lulls, but then some really good things. And I feel like between this and now the like big business next week should hopefully be something noteworthy, and also having the tournament.
And if Monet coming kickstarts the women's division, that's one of the missing pieces to this puzzle.
That and the tag division needs to be rebooted.
Which it looks like they're starting to deal with. Yeah. So I'm optimistic and hopeful. All right, well, that's going to wrap up our Revolution review. We will now transition into more AEW as they followed up this amazing pay-per-view with their regular Wednesday night offering, and that is AEW Dynamite.